Hello and good evening. Look at my hair. I said to my wife, I said 10 minutes ago, I said, is my hair all right? And she said, yeah, yeah. You know, I usually brush it when I come on here. Look, really, really bad, really bad. Anyway, good evening, everybody. We got a busy evening tonight. We got Stuart Goldcrusher. Um, then after that, um, we have got Susan Lee. And after that, we got a really not good pianist. And so stay tuned for everything. Share, guys, go into your right hand column and leave a message and say hello, see what you're doing. Perhaps going down the pub or whatever. Whatever you want to do, really. Anyway, just waiting for my guests to come on. Our topic tonight is knife crime. Can you ask him if he's got the email? I'd be glad when I'll be able to get an haircut. Do you know that? Yep, so we're waiting for our guest. I'll put it on his Facebook too. Hang on for a second. I can't see him. You need to come out and come back in again then. I can't see him. So anyway, guys, you sent a voice message. I can't get it because I'm on here. Can you just tell him to come back in? I just did. Okay. So we're just having some problems at the moment. We'll be ready in shortly. So anyway, what's been happening today? Anybody been up to anything? Let's keep the chat going. La 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 la. It's terrible when you're waiting for people, isn't it? Terrible. Anyway, my topic tonight was the follow on what I was talking about the other day. Is knife crime. Because we only touched on the surface about it the other day. So I thought, well, what we'll do is we'll talk about the knife crime, what's happening in this country at the moment. So No. Right, okay, guys, I'm going to carry on because I can't do anymore. Right, okay, so knife crime in the UK has gone up in rate at the moment. 46,000 people alone last month um, got done for knife crime. Okay, don't worry about it then. I can't be much about it. So anyway, 46,000 people um, 46,000 people kind of like uh, uh, lost my plot now because of all this. 46,000 people last month alone had some sort of knife crime in the country. And what's happening is at the moment the government are saying that they need to spend more money out on more police and everything. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about do we have enough police in the country? Also, do you think that the knife crime in this country is getting worse? Leave me a message and see what you think. Tell me more. So when we look at it, really, in this country with knife crime at the moment, there's a big issue. So what I want you to do is that we're going to watch a video. And we'll talk about it.
So what would you do to protect yourself? You're saying people want you dead. What was it? I'm Jermaine Genus, ex-footballer and pundit, and I'm going to explore the rise in knife crime that's devastating lives across our nation.
Tributes have been paid to a 15-year-old boy who was stabbed to death outside
A
his school.
17-year-old died from a stab wound to the heart.
A knife or blade was used in a crime every 16 minutes.
2 teenagers have been seriously injured in a suspected stabbing in Nottingham last night.
Although knife crime is a problem across the UK, there's been a spike in Nottingham, where I was born and bred.
We're seeing more severe stab wounds.
I know people that have been stabbed meters away from my house, and our community doesn't really exist.
I care about my city, so I've come back to find out why there's been a rise in knife crime here.
This is how it all ends up. Somebody losing a son, a friend. It creates hate.
I want to see what can be done to stop the violence and the killing. Football changed my life. It gave me incredible opportunities. I played for Premiership clubs in my country, all around the world. For me, that journey began here, in my hometown, Nottingham.
You hear about knife crime, I think until you physically see it, that's when it hits you. And I remember going into the barber shop, and I used to park my car just like around the corner. I saw this guy who was literally just squatted down in an alleyway. He had a balaclava on. 4 or 5 of them kind of rush around the corner. They will have my jewelry, their weapons on them. And obviously your immediate reaction is just that you're stiffing up, you're gonna fight, but you just can't. You're helpless. It was scary because you feel like you have an element of control. You've made it from a tough area to go and play for your club. I mean, I captained Forest when I was like 17. There's a respect level that you get from that. You walk around the city, grown men respect you, young kids look up to you. That just completely neutralised it. All of a sudden, you're nobody again because these people that are carrying these weapons, they got no respect for anybody. And that was the time where I properly fell out of love with Nottingham. I grew up in Clifton, which is way down there somewhere in the distance. But robbery was the thing. That robbery has now turned into murders. And I didn't come from the privileged position that I'm in now. It was me and my mum. And there was times where bailiffs come knocking on the door. But I was fortunate to have good friends, good family.
So when you go around to interview people, will they have knives on them? Have you
Probably. I want to see what these guys are just like. Do they just roll around and just be like, yeah, I got a knife?
Do I need to be worried about this?
I'm hoping, to be fair, that there's a level of respect for somebody like myself, being from Nottingham, who's prepared to take an interest in what they're doing. Because I personally think it only ends in a couple of ways, and none are good.
Yeah, that's
jail
true.
or death.
Yeah. As a parent, think that your child is going to go out and that might happen. Really, really scary to me.
This fear has become a reality for some.
I feel so heartbroken when I come up here to the cemetery, when I look at my child. I always say, why?
Trisha's son died from a knife attack after being robbed only yards from their front door.
This must be tough.
Very. My son was only 27 years of age. And I really, really miss him. And he shouldn't be here. I have been robbed of so many things. Grandchildren, love and all the sort of things that a family would do. He was a DJ. And he would always play the music so loud upstairs. Two brothers fighting. I miss that. The house is so quiet.
It's the simple things of
The simple
having
things.
two sons grow up together.
Exactly. He wasn't in any fighting. He wasn't in any gangs. He wasn't dealing. He was an innocent party in what happened to him.
Yeah, I'm a parent. I've got 3 girls, luckily enough, and just the thought sort of go through your head of what this must be like for you to have to stand here when he was taken so young.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't bring myself to even contemplate, to be honest with you.
No. There's so many mothers out there who is going through the same thing. It's got to stop.
I hate it when I'm at work and we go to the food shop. You always make some rice to eat or whatever. You get back and it's like cold and I can get up in the microwave.
I smoked weed as a young gun. Now my mind seems to function proper. I walk with my hand on a chopper, thinking I could easily stick my knife in your windpipe.
Can you give me a reason as why there's been such a rise in knife crime in Nottingham?
I dug out a stat that showed that 1 in every 25 crimes across Nottingham involved a knife. And I think what that shows is that there's almost this culture of carrying a knife across the city.
Ben is a former Nottingham crime journalist who has reported on knife attacks across the city.
Every time we made that call to the police, they'd say, it's a knife crime incident. It's a stabbing, it's a slashing, it's a threatening with a knife. You speak to communities and you realise how scared people are in their homes that this is happening on their streets. This used to be BZR, it's now been shut down. One of the reasons it got shut down was this particular incident. 2 sets of punters have fallen out. One turns around and hits the other one with a bottle. As he's being removed by the bouncers, the guy who's been hit by the bottle stabs the bouncer in the back.
What was the sentence that they got?
I believe he got 4 years in the end, which I don't think the victims were entirely happy about.
Well, you wouldn't be, would you? I mean, you're stabbed in the back by a knife when you're trying to, well, just do your job.
So we're right in the centre of town. Saturday night, this place would be absolutely heaving with people. Just out here.
One of them.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're on about. Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is also the scene where Joshua Bradley, who was 19,
Tell him on the
lost
show.
his life
Tell him on
when
the
a dispute got out of hand and guy ends up with a fatal stab wound. And police records say that the man who stabbed him, he was actually bragging about holding a knife.
Tell him on there.
Often it's petty disputes that lead to bigger issues, so they escalate. And we've got to be fair, it's young lads, anything from 14, even younger, through to about 25, who are involved in 99% of these incidents.
After weeks of negotiation, I've managed to get a meeting with a schoolboy who carries a knife.
I feel like I'm just going to look in their eyes and it's just going to be just hate. And then how do you get that back?
Chris, not his real name, will only meet me at a secret location with his identity concealed.
Are you in a gang?
No, I'm not in a gang. Just got a close group of friends. It's a place called My Bedrooms, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you touch my bedroom, then I'm going to touch you.
Do you feel more confident like when you've got your knife on you?
I feel like Superman.
You feel like Superman?
Yeah, I know that I could do damage to someone, but I know that I can defend myself.
Have you got one on you now?
Oh, I've got one still.
Can we see it? Where we are now, you must feel safe. What about if you dipped into like the city centre?
I've got to pay you a shank.
You have to?
Period, yes.
Why is that?
First of all, I can't see someone that I've got a problem with and not do nothing to them. That's got to make me look like a bitch. I don't do nothing to them, they're going to do something to me. So it's either eat or be eaten, isn't it?
You know, you're having to walk around with a knife. Have you used it? Have you stabbed somebody before?
Yeah, stab man's store. And walking over, all of that, thinking, oh yeah, shit, I just stabbed someone for the first time.
And have you been stabbed yourself?
I've been shot a couple of times, just like there, innit?
Right in the rib?
Yeah. Hospital for a week and that.
So you did go to hospital?
Yeah, quite a long time still.
Would you have faith that if you'd have told the police that they would have found him and done something about it?
I ain't no snitch, so I won't tell the police.
Where did it start? What triggered it?
The beef has escalated just while I got talking. He's decided to bring arms to me, so obviously I have to back myself. So I'm not going to stop. And then if I put him in hospital,
then it's going to carry on.
He's going to want to put me back in hospital.
So from that moment, you decided that's it, I'm carrying.
I would love to have a fist-to-fist fight with you. I can't, like, he's not going to want to have a fist-to-fist fight with me back. If I roll up to him, my fist down, and he pulls out a knife, what do? I'm not going to run away and look like a pussy.
How did you get hold of this knife?
All I've got to do is just go downstairs and open the top drawer. It's big. So that's touching man's organs, isn't it?
So it's what? Touching man's organs?
Yeah.
So it's not just a harming situation, you're doing it
to it's kill or be killed, isn't it? Like, if I kill man, I kill them, but they just need to be taught a lesson.
What would a lesson area be?
Right in their torso.
Right in the torso?
Right in their torso.
What scares me is that you're the next generation. You're saying words like, this is it. You know, it's kill or be killed. Basically, it's just, this is the end type thing. And at your age, you shouldn't be thinking like that.
If I die today, next year, the only person that's going to remember me is my mum.
It's scary to see the mindset of someone so young. To lose everything, lose his life. There was nothing that was going to stop him, and all this started from an argument. I mean, we all had arguments at school. Everyone had arguments at school, but he didn't get stabbed because of it.
After hearing about Chris's deadly feud with his rival, I wanted to find out about the damage that was being done with knives. I've come to the Queen's Medical Centre, Nottingham, one of the biggest and busiest trauma centres in the UK.
We're seeing more severe stab wounds, attempted maiming, so trying to divide a nerve, so the leg doesn't work, or even an abdominal stab wound, which we may end up having to bring the bowel out onto the surface into a bag, into a stamen. It's life-changing.
Hello, Stu.
Hello there, sir. How are you?
How are you?
Well, sorry about the technical problem. My fault. I had you on screen, but I didn't scroll down enough to let myself into the studio. So
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I'm not a computer expert, but I am trying my best.
Yeah, well, what we've been doing is we've been watching a video because I've been doing it for the last 2 days now.
Yeah,
talking about knife crime and everything.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
What's your opinion on it?
Well, you're talking. I'm a licensed doorman, and I'm SIA in the security industry, work the shops and the doors. So I've seen the towns on the night, hands on, people getting stabbed, people getting beat up, people getting attacked, and even girls getting, you're talking, hassled. You know what I mean? And they come to us for help. So it's a different world out there.
So what's it like to kind of like be a doorman? Have you ever seen knife crime when you've been a doorman?
Yes, yeah. I was working a shop in Wolverhampton, and
Right.
Somebody got stabbed on the car park while I was working there.
Gosh.
And that was 6 o'clock on the night.
6 o'clock at the night. Gosh.
Yeah.
Why do you think people, want to use knives for?
Well, you're going to look at it like this, because if a person's carrying a knife, that doesn't make them a bad person, right? Because they're only carrying that knife for a reason, because they could be scared of a gang or threatened by somebody else. They only become a bad person when they draw that knife onto somebody else.
Right. But,
okay. So that person does need help. If they're being threatened by gangs, or they're being threatened by feel unsafe in their community, they need to approach somebody and speak to somebody. Doesn't have to be a police officer. It could be a counsellor. It could be, you're talking, a charity or something like that, to take it up on behalf of them.
Right, okay. But see, the trouble is, last year alone, in this country, last month alone, right?
Yeah.
In this country, there was around about 25,000 knife crime just last month. 46,000 last year.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. So when you're a doorman, do the doorman, right? I used to do a lot of door work in Plymouth and at Plymouth Argyle, right? As steward and whatnot, and doorman and nightclubs and everything. But do you and other people check people that got knives, guns, whatever?
Well, you're talking the way it works there. If the licensees were to butt out a bit more and let the professional SIA do their job, then you're talking you'd have more response on actually searching, because in some circumstances, all the licensee is interested in is getting people through the door. So how much money they're going to take on the till.
Yeah, but surely
the safety aspect of it goes through the window.
Yeah, but that's it. So really, surely to stop anything happening in the club or the pub, surely it's best to kind of like check the people that's coming in instead of kind of like worrying what they're going to get behind the tills.
It's all about, Steve, everything's all about money, okay? Now, I've heard of one incident. There was SIA security working a shop. 2 women come running through the door and somebody's nicking a car. So he went out to assist the person,
right?
Assist the 2 people and stop the people from nicking the car. They actually drove the car into him and knocked him to the floor. He was off work for 6 months. From there, when it went into the hands of the security company, they turned around and says, "Oh well, you shouldn't have left the shop. You're only insured in the shop." So he got knocked over by doing this kind-hearted thing, helping somebody else, and he didn't get compensated for it. Same when you're on a door, okay? Even though we're SIA and we're trained to deal on the streets, then as soon as you step foot off that public license, are you insured? If you get knifed, who's paying my bills? Who's looking after my family? And who's looking after whatever? So it's a
surely then,
fine line.
But surely then you're saying that, but surely then you've got to look at it and say, yeah, okay, it's a job. But if I'm not going to get insured, why should I do it?
Yeah, but you are insured in the shop and on the nightclub venue. It's if you put your foot over that door, then it goes a matter for the police.
Right, okay. Said about that, right? About the insurance and everything. Let's have a look. Here it says about if you get your own public liability insurance, right, and if you were stabbed, some insurance companies will not insure you because they look at it as a high risk.
Yeah, exactly. Also, what you're going to remember, a lot of security personnel are careful what they say because they don't upset their bosses. Because you're talking, they upset their bosses and they don't get any work. Who's paying for where they're getting the money from to feed their family and pay their mortgages?
Right. So what? I'll ask you the question.
When you're on a door, Steve, you're piggy in the middle, right? Imagine you've got the public moaning at you. You've got the manager of the shop or the nightclub moaning at you, and then you've got to keep the police happy at the same time.
Yeah, I understand that, but what you've got to think about is, forget about the club at the moment and the owners. You've got to think about the public going into the place, and if they're carrying a gun or like a knife, and they get caught with it, or they commit a crime in the pub or the club, whose fault is it? Because they're going to say, "Oh well,
if you actually enter a licensed bar venue with a weapon, it's actually a criminal offence."
Of course it is, yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say.
But the smaller venues, then yeah, you can get round to searching them. But at the larger venues, if you're understaffed, like 9 times out of 10 you are usually understaffed, then from there, sometimes the searching just goes out the window. It's all about how much money they're making on the till.
Stopping search, it's got to be, it's got to be in the front almost. Soon you kind of like get over that line, and you want to go into the pub or the club, you get searched, whatever.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But how can I put it? A lot of security out there. What it really needs, it needs a governing body for security, like somebody like you pay your insurance to, and from there they actually protect the rights of the not the SIA, because you have to buy your SIA badge, right? I mean, independent body out there. What is you're talking going round certain towns, checking on all the door staff on the door, asking them if they are comfortable, if they feel safe, how they're getting on with their employer, and whatever. Okay, like a governing union, right, for the security industry. So, like all the door staff can pay into the union, and then from there, you're talking if their bosses want them to do something, or like I've been in situations before where I've upset my boss, and he hasn't given me any work for nearly a month.
Right. Okay. So no, I used to be a steward at Plymouth,
Yeah.
and my thing was that when people used to come through the gate, I used to be a supervisor actually, and
Yeah.
when people used to come through the gate, I made sure that every one of my staff who was with me, week in and week out when they were home, that we searched every single person who came into that ground. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and it could be anything. It could be anything. And the trouble is, you see, what gets my goat is these bloody pubs and these clubs. I'm sorry, excuse my French, but they get my goat because what they do is all what they're worried about is money. All
That's
what
right.
they're worried about, all what they're worried about is money,
Yeah, that's
right?
right.
And I know for sometimes I've been kind of like down one club um, particular where the door people as well were bang out of control anyway because they were giving all lip to the police.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the doorman and the police should be getting together, but sometimes, okay, the police do sometimes, kind of like, take a mick and don't let the door people do their job. I understand that.
Yeah, yeah. It's like anything. You're talking. You got to keep the customer happy, the licensee happy, and the police happy as well. It can be, and then you're talking the sentences should be a lot harsher for attacking a police officer or attacking a security guard or even a door supervisor.
Right, saying about that,
There should be a union out there backing backing the security industry, not just the SIA. And I've always thought about this. If you've got a door supervisor in one town, what goes and checks on another town and walks around talking to all the door staff in that town and then filing it back to their problems back to the union. Not you're talking the SIA because they have the money off you, and then from there you're talking you've got to do this and you've got to do that, but there's no backing for the work person in that security environment. If you see what I'm saying.
yeah, sure, yeah, I do. Um,
Yeah.
See, the trouble is with like, let's get back to the knife crime about it. It's like, surely to God, I keep on saying this. People do need to be searched. Now, I I am reading at this moment in time. Listen to this, Stu. Right?
Yeah.
In 2020, an Asian gent went into a nightclub, and because they didn't like because of his color, he was stabbed 6 times by a knife.
Yeah.
Right? This guy, the defendant, went to court.
Yeah.
He's waiting for it to be sentenced, but in the meantime, they let him go.
I know. Well, let me tell you something, right? You're talking AKA, AKA, and also Target Studios in London, Neil Simons, Wayne Adjuani, such as myself, and Damien Lee, and Annette, should I say. we've been contacted by a Danny David Maddock. He's out in North Wales, Wrexham way, yeah, that way.
Yeah.
His brother was stabbed 56 times.
Well,
So
actually, I want to bring Danny in here because Danny's on here at the moment.
Okay, well, Danny, you're talking. What we're going to do is we're going to go down and actually film Danny and put a bit of a set for him together to go in to work alongside the police and this, that, and the other.
Danny?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello, mate. All right, how are
Hi,
you?
mate. You okay? Yeah, thanks for the invite. Much appreciated.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I didn't realise it was you. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, it's okay. No worries.
The trouble is, so you've been hearing what Stu's been saying about because he's about the doorman and everything else like that, and kind of like when he's on the door, sometimes all what they're worried about is people going into the nightclubs and stuff. But
Yeah.
what do you think? Because what do you think about the whole situation with knife stabbing?
Well, I don't think there's not enough searching going on because basically my brother went out on a night out. He was actually in a nightclub when he got murdered, and obviously that guy hadn't been searched before he went into that nightclub. Otherwise, it would have stopped the killing of my brother. So we need some sort of security where they can be searched, or metal detector that could pick up a knife that on the door staff to pick up.
Surely, when you lose your brother, Stu, when you've got your brother or your close family, kind of like, like Danny's,
Yeah.
And someone dies because of like stabbing. Surely the bloody government needs to kind of like get their finger out and say, right, we've got a major problem in this country, and it needs to be sorted out.
Exactly. Yeah. But as I said, it all comes down to how much money they're making on the till, and from there, the security advisor doesn't want to upset their boss. So you're talking you're pity in the middle, alongside the public, the police, keep the police happy, the public, and whatever. So too many people butting in and not letting the door supervisor do their job properly.
Danny, can you tell us what happened to your brother?
Basically, my brother, sorry, excuse me. My brother was out on a night out, went to meet friends in a local bar in Wrexham town centre. And then it wasn't in town within the hour. Gets followed into the cubicle in the toilets, basically. And then he was just stabbed to death 56 times, slashed across the hands, stabbed completely recklessly in the neck, the back. And it just had a massive impact on the family.
And so what's happening at the moment then? Is he being charged or what?
Yeah, he's been sentenced to life. This was back in 2013 when I lost my brother. So I've just
what you doing at the moment? Sorry, what you doing at the moment? Then are you kind of like campaigning against knife crime with Stu and everyone?
I'm campaigning. I've just got hold of Stu and Ben now, trying to help them along as well, and try and team up with another, obviously, knife crime campaign to try and push it a bit more. Because I've just been working alongside Youth Justice Service and North Wales Police, going into schools and talking about, knife crime and how it affects families, and the police will have their say of what sort of sentence you can get for carrying a knife and obviously using a knife. And we've been into a couple of schools so far, obviously not last year, year before, obviously due to COVID now. And the amount of children that have admitted to carrying a knife, and that's in schools. It's not just the old people that are going into nightclubs. It's youths as well. You can't just blame the eldest.
Definitely.
Yeah. And how are they taking it in the schools? How is the young people taking it?
it's you see the the face change, you know, when someone's actually there that's being affected by knife crime, and I start, you know, because I start welling up a little bit, you know, and we do a couple of like events with them as well, you know, we get them all to close their eyes and stuff like that, and then give them all a balloon, get them to write their dreams on this balloon, and then just make them close their eyes and think of this dream in life that they want, and then just pop the balloon and scare them that way and say that's how life quick your dream can be taken away from you, you know, just if you were to use a knife.
I'm sure that Stu, you and Damien and Annette and everyone will
Well,
do a good.
what I'm going to do, Steve, is you're talking on me and Target Studios in London. Wayne Adjuani is a cinematic photographer. I'm going to get Wayne. Me and Wayne are going to go down and interview. And then Danny, we're going to go down and interview Danny. And we're going to put him a small little film together. Something to take round the schools and this, that, and the other. Also with Ben. Ben put down the knife, saved a life. Target Studios in London is organising a boxing charity event. He's got big names that go in there like Joe Egan and even Dave Courtney go in and this, that, and the other. So Target Studios is filming that as well, and we're going to put that into like a little type film to promote around the schools, charities, and this, that, and the other.
Well done, well done.
Excellent, yeah, excellent.
Yeah, well done, Danny. I would love to have you on sometime and talk to you further about it, because
Yeah,
you've got
definitely.
an interesting story there. Stu, again, as a doorman and as everything else, do you think the government is doing a, do you think the government needs to wake up? Because at the moment, it's just keep going on and on and on, doesn't it?
The government should, you're talking, give the door supervisor more powers, because I've known circumstances where the door supervisor and the security officer is, you're talking, in their environment, are scared to speak out, because you're talking, I spoke out once for one company and I didn't get phoned for nearly 3 weeks because I spoke my mind. They never phoned me up with any work for 3 weeks. So what it needs, really, it needs a governing body, a union out there, what will stick up for the workers. And you're talking, once that starts happening, the door supervisor and the security can tell the licensee, hang on a minute, we're the ones with the license here. Let us do our job. Let us search properly. Let us do this. Let us do that. And the thing is, money takes over. As long as money's involved, then you're talking, the licensee saying, oh, rush him in, rush him in, rush him in. So somebody gets in with a knife. And then from there, you're talking, because that happens, that's happened to Danny's brother. And then the door supervisor's got to be careful what he says to his boss, because he won't give him any work for 4 weeks.
Yeah. But
So,
some of these,
you're piggy in the middle.
Yeah.
But they all of them need to butt out and let the SIA do their job properly. The licensee shouldn't be able to even tell the licensed doorman, let another 150 in.
Surely security should come first, shouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That ain't happening, because there's too many people sticking their oar in on the SIA and telling them, oh, just let another 100 people in. Or, and then somebody doesn't get searched and your brother gets stabbed. And then as soon as the door supervisor says something, then they don't phone him up with any work for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. The trouble is, see, it's like football.
You are like the forgotten police force. Now remember, the door supervisor is on every corner of every town every weekend. And if there's an incident, we're there before the police. I've attended to incidents and the police haven't turned up for, you're talking half an hour, because they're understaffed. They're understaffed and they haven't got the manpower. The government should have more police officers on the street.
Are you first aid trained?
I am first aid trained, yeah.
Are the doorman first aid trained? So if it was a
Yeah.
stabbing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And how do you, and if you do see somebody with a knife and someone coming out you with a knife, you know, what was your what can you do? What powers have you got?
We've got the powers to, you're talking, it's like anything. It's the same as first aid, right? Same as first aid. You look at a situation and you think, is it safe to go in? If it isn't safe to go in, you can back off. Right now, if a person's got a knife, it don't matter how big or how strong you are, if you're going to tend, people are going to drop. People are going to fall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It happened in Birmingham, Rackens, a few years ago. Bloke pulled a knife, went on a rampage through the store, and I think it was about 6 or 7 badly slashed up.
Wow.
What they really need as well, is give the security metal detectors on the door.
Yeah, definitely.
Your metal detectors, because if they're going into a nightclub as well, and you can sweep them down for metal, then you can check them for knives. That is a big thing in knife crime, because if every venue has got a metal detector, it's easier to pick up a weapon to take it off the person.
And surely if they seen that metal detector on the door, they wouldn't think about entering somewhere like that with a knife in their pocket, because they think, oh, I'm not going to get in there. There's high security.
Yeah. That's right, Danny. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Plus, if there's more a two-man present there, two-man presence on the front of the door, then it does help.
Yeah,
but I think the SIA are restructuring and rethinking this lot, because what happened in Manchester, the same in Manchester when that person walked into a place with a bomb.
Yeah. There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the government needs to look at all the powers what the SIA can do. You know what I mean? They need to sort their
There's
things
got to be
out.
more back. There's got to be more backing for the frontline security, right? And there's got to be unions out there to back them, to take on the corrupt bosses, and also the corrupt licensees when they're letting more people in.
Oh yeah.
So
well, you know, it's a talk at the moment. They're thinking about not opening the. You know, they're saying that they're going to open the pubs and all like in, what's it, May or something? But I can't see it.
yeah, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Wayne Ajuana, who's cinematic photographer for Target Studios. We're going to come up with a nice little DVD somewhere along the line, what can help Danny and even Ben put down the knife, save a life, you know.
Good. Well
Yeah,
done.
fantastic.
Yeah, I'll talk to Neil Simon about it in London, Target Studios, and also Damien Lee as well. So we'll do something for you, mate. We'll try our best.
Smashing.
Brilliant. Very good. Well, thank you very much, Stuart and Danny. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Steve, I'd just like to say a big thank you to you for all the hard work you're doing. The time and dedication you put into podcast about mental health and knife crime. And I've also, a little birdie's told me, you took over the stroke centre, haven't you?
Who told you that?
Oh, well, you see, I've got my contacts, mate. I'd like to thank you for doing that as well. Yeah.
Well, because I've suffered from strokes in the past,
Yeah.
and I saw it, and I saw the vacancy come up.
1 minute. I'll phone you back in a minute, Joe. Yeah, I'm on the live show. All right, sorry about that, Steve.
Yeah, there's a funny story behind it, Danny. Don't go away. This is a funny story.
Okay.
Anyway, it was where I live. I'm not going to tell you where I live. Well, you probably know where I live, but I've got to be careful what I'm telling people on here.
Yeah.
Where I live, in Devon, I was kind of like because I had previous strokes and TIAs and stuff, and all of a sudden I looked in the paper one day and it said new leader wanted for this group, see, and I was thinking about it, and I said, yeah, I'll do that if they need somebody, I'll do it. So anyway, I phoned up and I said I'm interested, and they had loads of inquiries about it. I don't know, can't remember. Anyway, so I thought, I won't get this, and I started speaking to this gentleman on the phone. And next minute, things were going okay. Next minute, I was I met him in the garden up in where I lived, well, his place, and we were chatting face to face. And all of a sudden, I found out that he was Neil Simons' grandson.
Oh, right, is that right?
Yeah. So the person who's running the stroke club, that's his then is his grandson.
Well, I never knew that.
Yeah, grandfather. Sorry, So
okay.
So, and I thought, gosh, what's going on here? You know what I mean? So, and he said,
great.
And then came back to me and said, someone's put a good word in for you. And I said, who's put a good word in for you for that? And I said, I can't tell you, but my grandson, someone knows you very well. And I thought, who's that? No, you're Tim's, So anyway, short world, isn't it?
It is. It is a short will, Steve.
How did you find out anyway?
I'd like to thank you very much for everything you're doing. All the hard work and dedication and time you put into the show.
Good work, Steve.
Stu Goldcrusher of Britain's Got Talent, Neil Simon from Target Studios, Wayne Adjuani, Damien Lee, and even Annette. Okay, and all the cast and crew, film crew that we're working alongside with. A big thank you to you.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that.
That's okay, mate.
I really do. I think we're about like 89 in the podcast charts now out of about 3,000 odd. So we're doing quite well. So
brilliant.
Good work,
Danny,
Steve.
Will you
good work.
Yeah.
Just good work, Steve. Keep up the good work, and hope to speak to you all soon and get something along the lines going.
As soon as we come out of lockdown, me and my business partner Wayne will be in the car with the film kit coming over to see you.
Smashing. Thank you very much.
All right. All good.
Okay. In the meantime, guys, thank you very much, and look after yourselves. Take care. And see
Stay
you again.
safe.
Yeah, and Danny, you can come on my show anytime.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks very much.
Because we're getting a good response. Would it be possible, chaps, if you can wait there for 5 minutes, because I've got some questions. If I've got around about 4,000 people on here at the moment on my radio, and they want to answer some questions. One of them, Dot from Cambridge, says to you, Stu. They said, if you found somebody with a knife and someone attacking you or your partner, surely you'll have the right to take that knife off them in any way you can.
Well, the thing is, Steve, right? If you carry, the law's funny. If you carry a baseball bat in the back of your car and the police stop you, they can do you because it's a weapon. But if you carry a baseball bat and a ball and a glove, it's classed as a game. The police can't stop you. Now, if somebody's breaking into your house and they got a knife, they pull a knife on you, make sure you haven't got a baseball bat or a knife. Just make sure you've got a big piece of wood or tree trunk of some sort by the outer edge of your door. And if they're coming to you with a knife, pick up that tree trunk and hit them with it. Because all you got to do is say to the judge that, hang on a minute, my life was threatened. So what I did, he was coming at me with a knife. So I picked up the nearest thing and hit him with it.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, I've got to go. I can't answer no more questions. I'm sorry. We've run out of time, but thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay.
See you again next time.
It's a privilege to meet you, mate. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Cheers.
Here you go, guys. Sometimes we gotta kind of like make a decision in life where knife crime can be really bad, and is really bad. And as I said the other day, we're the only ones that can make the change and make it stop. There you go. Thank you very much to Stuart. Thank you very much for Danny, and for you for watching. Bye bye for now.